I was reborn. In the 8th year of the apocalypse, I was stabbed in the back by Zhao Xiao, the brother I trusted most. He colluded with my sworn enemy Xin Jinbin, shot through my spine, then blew my head off with another shot. Only when I fell did I understand. An innocent man is blamed for the jade he carries. Just because I awakened a personal storage space, he had been green with envy for a full 6 months, while I remained completely unaware. When I opened my eyes again, I was lying in a soft bed, warm sunlight filtering in through the curtains. My phone alarm was blaring. Chiming calendar, March 1st, 2024, 7:30 a.m. There were only 3 months left until the solar flare that would destroy the world. I stood on the 28th floor balcony and looked down. Outside the neighborhood, traffic flowed non-stop, breakfast shops steamed with heat, and office workers hurried past. This peaceful, prosperous scene would disappear completely in 3 months. On June 1st, an SSS-level solar flare unprecedented in human history would erupt. 2 days later, all satellites around the world would be destroyed by electromagnetic pulse, followed by a geomagnetic storm sweeping across the globe. The sun would then enter a weak phase, and Earth would be frozen within 3 days. Temperatures would plummet to minus 50 or 60 degrees Celsius, and more than 90% of species would go extinct. Skyscrapers would collapse, cities would be swallowed by blizzards, and humanity would be sent back to primitive society overnight. In my last life, I barely survived in that icy world for 8 years. 8 full years, eating snow and gnawing ice, sometimes going 2 or 3 days without a bite to eat. After finally activating the treasure basin left behind by my father and obtaining a personal storage space, I was betrayed by the person I trusted most half a year later. In this life, I would trust no one again. I only wanted supplies, only wanted to grow stronger. My support was this treasure basin. It looked like a dull gray, chipped broken bowl. If I took it out and squatted by the roadside, I could panhandle on the spot. But this very thing, after being activated in my past life with a special ancient coin, gave me a 3x3x3 personal storage space. Time stood still. Anything put inside would never decay, and it could hold anything except living creatures. The only regret was that I didn't activate it until the 8th year of my past life, when the world was already covered in ice, and there was no time even to upgrade it. This time, I would unlock it before the apocalypse arrived. I immediately opened the safe, put the treasure basin into my backpack, and drove straight to the antique street market in the south of the city. I remembered very clearly that the ancient coin used to activate it was found there. The antique market on the weekend was packed with people. Hundreds of stalls were lined up in rows, each piled with several hundred ancient coins. I crouched in front of stall after stall, searching, and 2 hours passed before my eyes were almost going blurry. Still, I hadn't found that ancient coin with the special pattern. I felt a little anxious. This market only opened on weekend mornings. If I couldn't find it today, I would have to come back next week, and with each week that passed, my head start would shrink a little. Just then, a voice that made my bones go cold came from behind me. Lin Shi? A flash of killing intent swept through my eyes. Zhao Xiao, my classmate from middle school through high school, my brother-in-arms for 8 years in the apocalypse, and the very man who personally sold me out to Xin Jinbin in my last life. When I turned around, surprise was already written on my face. Zhao Xiao, what are you doing here? He was wearing the urban management uniform and came up to pat my shoulder, looking very familiar. I was actually going to ask you the same thing. So even top students are interested in junk now? He was smiling, but there was a trace of jealousy hidden in his eyes. I had never been able to see it before, but now I caught it at a glance. He was hoping I'd get cheated here and waste my money. I kept my expression unchanged, brushed his arm away, and said casually that I was just looking around. He immediately started stirring things up, saying an old man had once picked up a bargain and sold it for 500,000 after spending 200 yuan, hinting that I should buy a few pieces too. I sneered inwardly and gave him a perfunctory response out loud. As we were talking, a commotion suddenly broke out not far away, and the crowd surged over all at once. Zhao Xiao shouted a couple of times that urban management was handling things and led me as we squeezed to the very front. A young man of about 25 or 26 was holding up an ancient coin, red in the face and thick-necked as he shouted at the stall owner, "Fake." I took it to be appraised, and it's a modern craft item. Refund me. You have to refund my 100,000 yuan today. The stall owner was an old man in his 70s, his face full of deep lines, even his fingers trembling. This really is a family heirloom treasure. I looked at the ancient coin in the young man's hand, and my pupils suddenly contracted. Not quite gold, yet not quite not gold. with a gold ingot carved on one side and several strange characters carved on the other. It was it. The treasure bowl in my backpack grew slightly warm, as if responding. I took a deep breath and walked up to the young man. "Could you let me take a look at the ancient coin in your hand?" The young man impatiently waved me away. I didn't get angry and said directly, "I'm interested in collecting all kinds of coins. The one in your hand can be resold to me." The people around us began whispering, looking at me as if I were an idiot. Zhao Xiao was stunned too, and I heard him mutter something under his breath. The young man named Qin Tai rolled his eyes, looked me up and down, and immediately asked for 150,000. 50,000. My face remained expressionless. He snatched the ancient coin back in one grab and shouted that I must be dreaming. I turned and walked away, silently counting in my head. 1, 2, 3, young lady. But it was the old man who called me to a stop. Trembling, he pulled a cloth bundle from his chest, and inside lay another identical ancient coin. "I still have another one of these ancient coins. I'll sell it to you for 80,000. I spun around abruptly, my heart pounding wildly. 2. In my previous life, I had only found one, but in this life, there were actually 2. I took the old man's ancient coin, and the treasure bowl in my backpack grew even more obviously hot. After confirming it was genuine, I transferred 80,000 without another word. With reddened eyes, the old man said he urgently needed it to treat his son's illness. This had been passed down from his ancestors, and they had originally instructed that the 2 coins must never be separated. I didn't say much more. This transaction was life-saving for both him and me. When Qin Tai saw me pay so readily, the suspicion in his eyes instantly turned to panic. He stopped me and said he'd transfer it to me at the original price of 100,000. I said 50,000, and after some back-and-forth bargaining, we closed the deal at the same 80,000. 160,000 spent, and both ancient coins were in hand. The onlookers all felt that today they had run into a live sucker, and the sourness in Zhao Zhao's eyes was practically overflowing. I couldn't be bothered with him, brushed him off with a couple of perfunctory words, and hurried home. These people didn't know that in the apocalypse, this little money wasn't even worth one compressed biscuit, while these 2 ancient coins were the foundation of my survival. After returning home, I locked the door, drew all the curtains, and slipped into the windowless storage room. I took out the slightly warm treasure bowl and placed the first ancient coin inside. In an instant, the broken bowl floated up, and the grime and patina on its surface peeled away piece by piece, revealing a glittering golden true form, and a dazzling beam of golden light shot into the center of my brow. My vision blurred, and a translucent interface appeared. Treasure bowl function. Storage space 3 by 3 by 3 wealth points required for upgrade. 1,000. The space opened. I clenched my fists so hard that my knuckles turned white. Although this 3-meter cubed space wasn't large, time stood still inside it, and supplies stored there would never spoil. This was the strongest trump card in the apocalypse. In my previous life, I hadn't even fully upgraded it to level 1. In this life, I was going to upgrade it to the limit. I picked up the second ancient coin, and the moment it touched the center of my brow, it turned into a stream of heat and disappeared. The interface before my eyes blurred into a burst of garbled code, and when it became clear again, I froze. There was an extra line function, item duplication * 3 wealth points required for upgrade, 10,000 item duplication. My breathing grew heavy. 3 chances to duplicate. This was simply heaven-defying. I rushed into the bedroom, opened the safe, took out the 500-gram gold bars my father had left behind, gripped them tightly in my hand, and silently said, "Item duplication." With a flash of golden light, 5 identical gold bars appeared out of thin air and clattered onto the floor. I picked them up and compared them one by one. Even the tiny flaw on one of the bars had been perfectly replicated. The number of duplications on the interface changed to *2, proving that what had just happened was not an illusion. At the current price of gold, this single move increased my assets by 1.05 million. If I used these 10 bars to duplicate them into 20 more, but I forcibly held myself back. There were only 2 duplication chances left. If these couldn't be replenished, then they had to be used at the most critical moments. And too much wealth could easily attract trouble. In my previous life, my space was a case of a man gets into trouble because of the treasure he carries. In this life, I won't repeat the same mistake. I picked up one of the duplicated gold bars and tried to upgrade the space. Red text popped up on the interface. Duplicated items cannot be used for upgrades. Sure enough, there was no loophole to exploit. I picked up an original gold bar again and silently said upgrade. After swallowing 1 gold bar, The money points required for the upgrade dropped from 1,000 to 500. After swallowing another one, the space suddenly expanded to 6 by 6 by 6, and its volume increased eightfold. But the next level required 2,000 points, which meant 4 gold bars. At the current gold price, that came to 860,000. Upgrading item duplication was even more expensive, 10,000 points, for 0.24 million. I only had 3 original gold bars left, 14.52 million in cash, plus this apartment. This little money was far from enough to stockpile supplies for decades. I had to use the remaining 2 duplication chances where they would count the most, doubling and redoubling the principal. I picked up my phone and, in one breath, called 5 or 6 real estate agents. 128 square meters, downtown, market price 80,000 per square meter. I'll let it go for 9 million. Anything above that is all your commission. There's only one condition: full payment, and the fastest possible transfer of ownership. After hanging up, I knew these agents would scramble to find buyers for me like sharks smelling blood. And what I was waiting for was the payment for the apartment to hit my account, together with the cash I had on hand. All of it would go straight into the bank to buy gold bars. Then I'd use the duplication ability to double them, sell the duplicated gold bars to recover the principal, and feed all the original gold bars into the cornucopia to upgrade it. 3 months, 90 days. Enough for me to upgrade the space to a level others wouldn't even dare imagine, and stockpile enough supplies to walk all over the post-apocalyptic world. Zhao Xiao, Xin Jinbin, and that person who hid in the shadows and fired the final shot at me in my last life. In this life, you won't even be qualified to look up at me. And the gold bars left over could all be used to upgrade the cornucopia. After putting his apartment on the market, Lin Shi called his counselor and said there was an urgent matter at home, asking for leave. The apocalypse was about to arrive. Continuing to go to school would just be a waste of time. But if he simply stopped going, the counselor would definitely bombard him with calls. So asking for leave directly was more convenient. In any case, since he lived alone, no one would expose whatever excuse he used for leave. Lin Shi had considered whether he should notify the authorities in advance that an SSS-class solar flare would erupt 3 months later. That way, perhaps human casualties and the authorities' losses could be minimized. But he immediately rejected the idea, leaving aside how a commoner like him could ever get in touch with high-level officials, even if he went to the police. The officers couldn't possibly believe what he said. He had no way to prove that what he was saying was true. The police would only treat him as a madman. Posting news of the apocalypse online would be useless too. In recent years, Tianjin Star's climate and environment have been getting worse and worse, and many people were already speculating about all kinds of apocalyptic scenarios. Even if he spoke with complete certainty, he would only be regarded as just another alarmist. It would also leave hidden dangers and risks for himself. In the end, he was just a selfish, ordinary man. Lin Shi drove to a pawnshop. The gold bars in his family's safe had all been bought by his father at a gold shop more than 10 years ago. They could only be sold to jewelry stores and pawnshops. After selling the 5 copied gold bars, 1.05 million was deposited into his account. By the time he finished, night had fallen. After eating grilled fish outside, Lin Shi went home satisfied. That night, Lin Shi also made himself a 3-month exercise plan. As the extreme cold apocalypse approached, most of the dead were the elderly and children. Physically strong young people had the highest survival rate. A strong body could resist the cold, increase the chance of survival, protect himself, and deal with the mutations that would appear after the apocalypse. Just after he finished the plan, his phone pinged with a message. Lin Shi opened his phone and saw a message from his high school class group chat. It was a small group chat with only 6 people, and Lin Shi had even pinned the group messages, which showed how important this group had been to him back then. The top message was clearly from Zhao Xiao. Zhao Xiao. Guys, are you free tomorrow night? Want to get together? At everyone Huang Miao. I'm free. Where are we going this time? Brother Lin, take us flying. Manually inserted funny face. Zhao Xiao, to watch a wee club. I'm putting in all the salary I've earned these past few months too, and I'm treating you all to a proper meal. Who told you to be my best brothers? Sun Xiaodong. Brother Zhao is impressive, but I'm not in Sanyuan City these days. Crying Su Feifei. I'm going. Cute emoji. Zhao Xiao. Feifei, girls aren't suited to places like this. Su Qin. Sigh. I'm studying at university out of town, so you all eat and drink well. Let's get together again during summer break. Looking at the messages, Lin Shi remembered many details from his previous life that he hadn't noticed before. In his previous life, although Lin Shi and Zhao Xiao had been middle school classmates, Zhao Xiao had always had his own little circle and was only on nodding terms with Lin Shi. Thinking back now, the time Zhao Zhao's attitude changed happened to be when Lin Shi's father passed away. At that time, his father's sky-high death compensation made the news in Sanyuan City. After that, Zhao Xiao and the few people close to him started acting like brothers with Lin Shi. They often found various excuses to ask Lin Shi out to eat, drink, and have fun. Considering that everyone was a student and didn't have much money, Lin Shi always fought to pay the bill whenever they went out. Looking back now, over more than 3 years of hanging out, with hundreds of expenses big and small, not one of these people had ever paid a cent. Especially Zhao Xiao, who would secretly and openly complain to Lin Shi about being poor and play the victim. He kept feeding Lin Shi the idea that brothers should share blessings and hardships alike. He said he would treat, but by the time came, he would definitely find ways to make Lin Shi pay. The consumption at Watchawi Club was not something Zhao Zhao's 3,000 yuan monthly salary could afford. After his rebirth, Lin Shi was no longer the simple Lin Shi of his previous life. He understood these things at a glance. Looks like Zhao Xiao got provoked by what happened buying the ancient coins today and couldn't wait to fleece me. Seeing that Lin Shi didn't reply, the others in the group started at ing him. A cold smile curved Lin Shi's lips. Since that's how it is, then I'll collect some interest first. Lin Shi, sure, but I won't be free until after 8 p.m. The next day, used to waking early, Lin Shi naturally woke up at 5 a.m. The treasure basin interface had not changed, and the copied used item had not recovered either. Lin Shi wasn't the least bit flustered. If it could only be used 3 times, then the new ability brought by this ancient coin was far less practical than the space. Moreover, the money points required to upgrade the item copying ability were 10 times those of the space. This proved that this ability must be even more valuable and powerful than the space. He stopped thinking further. He'd understand everything once he upgraded with gold. After washing up, Lin Shi went downstairs first for a morning run to warm up, then began exercising his whole body in an orderly way. He didn't keep up intense exercise continuously, but trained with a balance of tension and relaxation, stretching, training, stretching. While increasing muscle strength, it also made his muscles and joints more flexible. In the apocalypse, he had already developed a workout routine that suited him best. Now he only needed to progress step by step. The first day's training intensity should not be too high, and Lin Shi returned home at 8 o'clock. After showering and eating breakfast, Lin Shi began making a supplies checklist. The extreme cold apocalypse required many things, and based on his experience from his previous life, Lin Shi listed everything he would need. In the afternoon, Lin Shi called an agent and rented a 1,000 square meter warehouse for 1 month, with 1 month as deposit and 1 month paid in advance, for a total of 60,000. After arranging to sign the contract the next day, Lin Shi hung up the phone. The warehouse was meant to avoid attracting attention. The supplies he bought afterward would first be delivered to the warehouse and then stored in his space. There was also a tiny night watch cubicle inside the warehouse, and Lin Shi had already decided that in a few days he would move into the warehouse. Until the supplies were fully prepared. In the blink of an eye, night fell, and Zhao Xiao and the others in the phone group chat had already started urging everyone to head out early. Lin Shi was not in a hurry. It wasn't until nearly 8 o'clock that he changed clothes and drove to Huaqiao Club. By the time Lin Shi arrived, Zhao Xiao, Huang Miao, and Su Feifei had already drunk quite a lot in the private room. Su Feifei's eyes lit up when she saw Lin Shi push the door open and walk in, blushing as she immediately came up and coquettishly linked arms with him. Lin Shi, why did you come so late? It's been so long. Did you miss me? Su Feifei had sweet features, fair skin, and big sparkling eyes. When she looked at someone, it made them feel as if her eyes were full of only them, creating the illusion that Su Feifei was interested in them. In fact, she treated everyone in her pawn that way. In his previous life during the apocalypse, Su Feifei had lived much better than he had. Taking the chance to wave at the others, Lin Shi pulled his arm free. Su Feifei was stunned. Before she could think much about how Lin Shi was different today, Huang Miao had already called him over. Brother Lin, come over quick. Today we have to drink until we're completely drunk before going home. Zhao Zhao's gaze swept over the arms Su Feifei had linked, and the smile on his face visibly faded a little. Lin Shi, Miao, I've prepared a great show for you two today. Zhao Xiao gave a mysterious smile. Huang Miao asked curiously, what great show? Before long, 4 hot-bodied beauties walked into the private room. Lin Shi raised his brows, and a trace of mockery flashed through his eyes. He had actually called in drinking companions. Ugly as he was, he sure knew how to play. Lin Shi glanced at the alcohol on the table. It would cost at least 10 or 20,000. He wanted to see whether Zhao Xiao could really come up with that much money today. Zhao Xiao looked at Lin Shi and smiled. Lin Shi, I called these girls for you and a meow. Come on, let's drain this glass. Lin Shi did not pick up his glass, but said, I've got a bit of a cold today and took cephalosporins, so I can't drink. You all go ahead. Hearing this, the three of them did not mind. After that, in the private room, the three sang and drank. In the blink of an eye, it was 1 a.m., and the table was covered with empty bottles. Aside from Lin Shi, everyone was somewhat drunk. With bleary drunken eyes, Su Feifei said she wanted to go home. Zhao Xiao immediately said he would take her home. Huang Miao's eyes shifted, and he followed up, I'm on the way with brother Zhao too. Together. Then let's pay the bill and leave together. Lin Shi said with a smile. The waiter went to get the bill. Zhao Xiao walked over to Lin Shi and slung an arm over his shoulder. A trace of shrewdness mixed into his bleary gaze. Lin Shi, come to my house for dinner tomorrow. My parents really miss you. About what my mom said last time, wanting to make you her godson, have you given it any thought? It took Lin Shi a few seconds of recollection before he remembered what Zhao Xiao was talking about. When he went to Zhao Xiao's house last month, Zhao Xiao's parents had shown strong affection for Lin Shi and proposed taking him in as their godson so that he and Zhao Xiao could become one family in the future. Lin Shi's father had moved from another place and settled in Sanyuan City, and Lin Shi had never had contact with any of his father's relatives from childhood to adulthood. After his father died, his mother remarried, and he also stopped keeping in touch with the relatives on his mother's side. The appearance of Zhao Xiao and these people happened to fill the emptiness in Lin Shi's heart, which was why Lin Shi trusted them so much. Although in his previous life Lin Shi did not agree to become the Zhao family's godson, he did become closer to Zhao Xiao. When Zhao Xiao's family bought a new house, he even lent them 1 million. Later, when the apocalypse arrived, Zhao Xiao's parents both died in the early days of the apocalypse, and the money was never recovered. Calculating the time, it was almost time for Zhao Xiao to ask him for money. No, I'm not used to being someone else's son. Lin Shi smiled, but the smile did not reach his eyes. From beginning to end, Zhao Xiao had approached him with an ulterior motive. In his previous life, he had treated Zhao Xiao as his best friend and overlooked many things. Now, after setting aside the filter of close friendship, Lin Shi realized that Zhao Xiao's tricks were actually not that clever. He could see through them at a glance now. This was also related to how Lin Shi had seen too much of the sinister side of human nature in the apocalypse. Zhao Xiao, having been rejected by Lin Shi, was slightly stunned. At that moment, the waiter walked in with the bill. The total came to a little over 38,000, rounded down to 38,000. The waiter handed the bill to everyone. Zhao Xiao, Huang Miao, and Su Feifei all turned to look at Lin Shi. Lin Shi raised his brows. Why are you all looking at me? Zhao Xiao said he was treating. Zhao Xiao seemed to only just realize it, patted his pocket as if suddenly understanding, then took out his phone awkwardly and said, Damn, my phone's dead. Zhao Xiao looked at Lin Shi with a pleading gaze. If it had been the Lin Shi of his previous life, he would have gotten up and paid the bill without a second word. But now Lin Shi wore a half smile, a hint of mockery flashing in his eyes, and said to the waiter, Get him a charger. The waiter's expression darkened, and he shot Zhao Xiao a disdainful glance before leaving the private room to get a charger. As he walked out, he said to the people outside the door, Keep an eye on them. The people outside immediately understood. The atmosphere in the private room grew somewhat stiff. Huang Miao and Su Feifei exchanged a glance. They were already used to Lin Shi rushing to pay the bill, and they had never even imagined a scene like today's. Although Zhao Xiao had always said he was treating, they all knew in their hearts who would actually end up paying. Could it be that Lin Shi and Zhao Xiao had a falling out? Huang Miao gave Zhao Xiao a look. What's going on? Zhao Xiao was also full of confusion, and a flash of annoyance crossed his face. Lin Shi's behavior was making him lose face right now. His phone still had battery. He had only turned it off just now to give Lin Shi a plausible reason to pay. Could it be that Lin Shi wanted him to beg? Zhao Xiao had already started to resent Lin Shi in his heart, but he still forced a smile and said, Lin Shi, you cover this meal first today, and I'll treat next time. Naturally, Lin Shi would not leave Zhao Xiao any face at all, and said with a puzzled look, Zhao Xiao, today you said you were treating and called everyone out, right? Don't tell me you don't even bring money when you treat people? The smile on Zhao Xiao's face froze. Huang Miao and Su Feifei both looked at Lin Shi with disbelief. Over the past 3 years, they had seen with their own eyes how good Lin Shi had been to Zhao Xiao. When had they ever seen Lin Shi like this? There were still 4 hostesses in the private room at this time. and they had not even received their tips yet. But now a dine-in-dash scene was actually playing out. They had all heard Zhao Xiao confidently say at the start that he was treating, and immediately all kinds of contemptuous, disdainful, and astonished looks were cast toward Zhao Xiao. At that moment, the waiter came in holding a charger, set it down in front of Zhao Xiao, and made a pleased gesture to him. Zhao Xiao looked at the charger, caught in a dilemma. The waiter urged him coldly, "Charge it, sir. We'll be closing in another hour." Zhao Xiao's expression looked like an overturned paint palette, turning red, then white, then black. No matter how scheming he was still just a 19-year-old young man who had only recently entered society. At this moment, Zhao Xiao could no longer hold back his anger. Enough. Zhao Xiao gritted his teeth and forced out a few words to Lin Shi, one by one. "Lin Shi, I'm begging you to settle the bill first. Can we talk about whatever it is later?" Even now, he still thought he had accidentally done something to upset Lin Shi. As long as he acted like before and humored Lin Shi a little, Lin Shi would still obediently do as he said. But how could Lin Shi, after experiencing Zhao Zhao's betrayal, still be the sucker he was in his previous life? Lin Shi's expression turned cold as well. "So, are you really treating us without bringing any money?" Zhao Xiao felt as if his self-respect were being ground into the floor, and his eyes turned red with anger. "Yes." Lin Shi chuckled and swept his gaze over the group. "If that's the case, then let's split the bill." "What? Split the bill?" Now Huang Miao and Su Feifei couldn't stay calm either. Su Feifei frowned and said, "We came out to have fun. You're not seriously expecting me, a girl, to pay the bill, are you?" Huang Miao's eyes flickered as he said awkwardly, "I didn't know we were splitting the bill today. I didn't bring any money." Huang Miao nudged Zhao Xiao, whose face had already darkened like the bottom of a pot. "Brother Zhao, how did you offend Brother Lin? Apologize to Brother Lin." Looking at Lin Shi's half-smiling expression, Zhao Xiao wanted nothing more than to go up and beat Lin Shi to death. He simply couldn't remember how he had angered Lin Shi. Lin Shi ignored the three of them and paid for his own share, a 30-yuan lemonade. Zhao Xiao cried out in disbelief. "Didn't you say we were splitting the bill?" At this point, his brain had already stopped working. Lin Shi curled his lips. Seeing Zhao Xiao like this filled him with genuine delight. We are splitting the bill. Each person pays for the part they consumed. Tonight, I only drank 1 glass of juice. If you don't believe me, you can check the surveillance footage." With things having developed to this point, the club had no choice but to pull up the footage, and it turned out Lin Shi was telling the truth. After Lin Shi paid 30 yuan, they let him leave. Under the furious glares of Zhao Xiao and the other two, Lin Shi pushed open the door and left. The three were left to face the waiter's cold-faced urging. "There is still 37,970 yuan outstanding. Please pay the bill." Lin Shi really just left like that? The three of them couldn't believe that the usually easygoing Lin Shi had become so cold-blooded. By the time they reacted, Lin Shi had already gone far away. "Lin Shi, wait for me." Su Feifei wanted to follow Lin Shi out, but the waiter stopped her. "Why are you stopping me? The person ahead is my boyfriend." Su Feifei glared at the waiter angrily and spoke in an unfriendly tone. The waiter sneered. "Then you can call your boyfriend and ask him to cover your share too." Su Feifei was so angry her chest heaved, but she didn't dare lash out at the waiter, who looked difficult to mess with. She turned and shot Zhao Xiao a vicious glare. "What are you standing there for? Pay up." I don't have that much money." Having completely lost face in front of the girl he liked, Zhao Xiao already hated Lin Shi to death. He had been working for less than a year, and his savings hadn't even reached 4 digits yet. How could he possibly afford 38,000? Lin Shi's guess was also right. It was because Zhao Xiao had seen Lin Shi spend over 100,000 in just a few minutes yesterday and had turned sour with envy that he thought of asking Lin Shi out today to fleece him hard. Zhao Xiao knew Lin Shi would definitely pay and that he couldn't do without them, his only good friends. Even if it pained him, he would compromise. It had clearly always been like this before, so why did he seem like a completely different person today? Still unwilling to accept it, Zhao Xiao called Lin Shi. Feeling refreshed after walking out of the club, Lin Shi hung up Zhao Zhao's call, blocked all of them, and went home. The call Zhao Xiao made was hung up on. He called again, but this time it wouldn't even go through. Only then did he truly realize that Lin Shi was no longer going to care about them. Facing the menacing stares of the waiter and several security guards from the club outside, Zhao Xiao said in a low voice, "Let's split the bill." Huang Miao and Su Feifei were naturally unwilling. One of them had only just started working, and the other was still a student, so neither had any money. The idea of coming to the club was Zhao Zhao's, and it was Zhao Xiao who said he was treating. Even the call girls were arranged by Zhao Xiao. After the three of them argued furiously, the club finally called the police. Once the police arrived, they had no choice but to call their families for money and settle the bill. Because Zhao Xiao had wanted to scam Lin Shi and drank the most expensive drinks, he had to pay 18,000. Huang Miao drank quite a lot too and had to pay 13,000. Su Feifei reluctantly paid 7,000. The three left Hua Chao Club and parted on bad terms. Huang Miao and Zhao Xiao had a huge fight, accusing each other, and nearly fell out completely. Su Feifei also gave Zhao Xiao the cold shoulder and blocked him on the way back. It had only been one gathering, yet not only had his good brother fallen out with him, even the girl he loved had kicked him out of her fish pond. Zhao Xiao hated Lin Shi to the core. But when he got home, he not only received no comfort, he was also harshly scolded by Father Zhao and slapped. Father Zhao angrily cursed him for being so inconsiderate. The family had already planned to buy a house and borrow money from Lin Shi, and then he pulled this stunt. He ordered Zhao Xiao to apologize to Lin Shi immediately. Father Zhao felt that Zhao Xiao's motive for trying to fleece Lin Shi this time was too obvious, and that was why he had offended Lin Shi and made him angry. Lin Shi knew nothing about any of this, and even if he did, he wouldn't care. The next day, Lin Shi still got up early to work out. Not long after finishing breakfast, he received a call from a real estate agent. The agent was a young woman named Chen Qingqing. "Mr. Lin, I have a client who wants to take a look at the house. When would you be available?" That fast? Lin Shi was slightly surprised. "I'm available right now. Just bring them over." More than 10 minutes later, Lin Shi heard the doorbell ring. When he opened the door, a middle-aged man in a jacket walked in with the young and attractive Chen Qingqing. Chen Qingqing began to introduce the advantages of this house in detail. Lin Shi stepped aside. Agents were the professionals when it came to selling houses, so all he had to do was wait. After looking over the house, the middle-aged man readily said he could buy it outright. The price Chen Qingqing negotiated was 9.45 million. Lin Shi was somewhat surprised. This was much faster than he had imagined. When the two were leaving, he saw the middle-aged man reaching out his greasy hand toward Chen Qingqing, and Lin Shi immediately understood something. Not long after the two left, Chen Qingqing came back again. "Mr. Lin, I've already fought for the client. Tomorrow we can go handle the property transfer procedures. Please prepare the things in advance, Mr. Lin." For such a big deal, to avoid any complications, Chen Qingqing had done everything she could. Okay. Although he was a little surprised by this woman's methods, Lin Shi was quite satisfied with the result. The faster the house was sold, the sooner the next step could begin. Chen Qingqing then went on to explain in detail what needed to be prepared for the transfer. As she spoke, she slowly leaned her body closer. Lin Shi stepped back several paces, his cold gaze sweeping over Chen Qingqing. Chen Qingqing was 25 or 26, in the prime of her youth and beauty, and her figure was decent too. But he had no interest in this kind of unscrupulous woman. Under Lin Shi's gaze, Chen Qingqing felt half her heart go cold. She had never seen such a cold look in a young man's eyes. But thinking of the huge commission, Chen Qingqing still forced herself to put on her most beautiful smile. "Mr. Lin, you said before that anything over 9 million would count as commission. I keep my word. Once the deal is done, I'll transfer it to you. I still have to go out later, so I won't keep you, Miss Chen." It was her ability that let her get a 450,000 cut from one deal, and Lin Shi naturally wouldn't go back on his word. With this money, he could also begin the next step of his plan. Hearing this, Chen Qingqing quietly let out a sigh of relief and took her leave. Lin Shi was also getting ready to go out. Yesterday, they had agreed to sign the warehouse lease contract today. Lin Shi had looked around the warehouse and was very satisfied. Before renting it, he had already mentioned several requirements. It needed to have few people around, good privacy, and the inside shouldn't be visible from the outside, and so on. This broker was also very attentive and had found a warehouse that met Lin Shi's requirements and even come to inspect it in advance. The contract was signed very smoothly. Tomorrow, once the apartment in his own residential complex is handed over, Lin Shi can move into the warehouse to live there. Before leaving, Lin Shi stopped the broker. The broker was a man nearing 30, named Liao Peng. Lin Shi felt that this person was very meticulous and steady in his work. With less than 3 months left on the apocalypse countdown, he needed to stockpile massive amounts of supplies and upgrade the treasure basin. It couldn't be done in just a few days. Building a shelter would take time and effort, and he needed someone to help. "Mr. Liao, are you interested in working for me? I can offer you an annual salary of 500,000 yuan. Lin Shi painted a tempting picture. Liao Peng froze. An annual salary of 500,000 yuan? That was 200,000 to 300,000 yuan more than his salary at the real estate agency. But he felt uneasy and suspicious, wondering if Lin Shi was joking with him. He asked carefully, "What do you need me to do?" If it was anything illegal or unethical, he couldn't do it. Lin Shi organized his thoughts and said, "It's like this. I'm an apocalypse survival enthusiast, and I want to build an independent safe house in Sha City. But I'm tied up in Sanyuan City and can't get away, so I hope someone can help me." Apocalypse survival enthusiast? Safe house. Even someone as steady as Liao Peng had his face twitch when he heard Lin Shi's words. As a real estate broker, he had rented and sold all kinds of houses. He naturally knew that some wealthy people had rather odd ideas. Because of rumors online about a possible Third World War, natural disasters, and the like, some rich, deathly afraid bosses would build an extreme environment survival system in the basement beneath their villas. But those were all big bosses over 40. This was the first time he had encountered a request to have him help build a safe house. If the young man in front of him hadn't just closed a deal through him, Liao Peng might have thought he was a scammer and walked away. Lin Shi also knew that words alone weren't proof. He signaled Liao Peng to take out his phone's payment QR code and transferred him 100,000 yuan. That was more than 2 months' salary. Only then did Liao Peng believe Lin Shi's words. Who would joke around with that much money for no reason? However, being cautious, he still insisted on signing a contract with Lin Shi. Lin Shi had the same idea. The shelter was closely tied to his future survival, and he couldn't expect to make Liao Peng work wholeheartedly for him with just a few words. After discussing the contract details, the two signed one. The general content was that Lin Shi hired Liao Peng as his private butler for an annual salary of 500,000 yuan. He would be responsible for handling the construction of the new house in Sha City, supervising and inspecting it, and helping Lin Shi deal with some miscellaneous chores. In return, Lin Shi would guarantee Liao Peng's salary and other rightful benefits. Since Lin Shi's timeline was tight, Liao Peng promptly and decisively resigned and took the job. With this position, he could buy a house in the suburbs of Sanyuan City after only a few years, far better than working at a real estate agency. He secretly resolved to work hard and make sure Boss Lin saw his abilities. What he didn't know was that this job would only last 3 months. Lin Shi never intended to employ him for long. Once the shelter was completed, Liao Peng's job would be over. Lin Shi directly ordered, "Liao Peng, go to Sha City first and find a plot of homestead land that's willing to be sold, according to my requirements." Lin Shi's requirements were high ground, flat terrain, no tall buildings around, a remote location, and a large land area, somewhere that could start construction right away. This was Liao Peng's old line of work, so it shouldn't be difficult for him. "Okay, boss." Liao Peng quickly got into character and immediately went to book the earliest flight. Sha City in Nan Province is a famous tourist destination and also the city closest to the equator, with no winter all year round. After the arrival of the extreme cold apocalypse, humanity's living space shrank rapidly. Temperatures in the north were extremely low and no longer suitable for human habitation. Author's note: the sun is only weakened, not gone. Even though buildings in the north were more resistant to cold than those in the south, the natural gas pipelines in the north soon froze and burst. With heating gone, outdoor temperatures averaged -70 degrees, nearly cutting off food supplies and forcing northerners to migrate south. And this was only the situation in summer. Only a few regions with state granaries could barely survive and establish survivor shelters. Although the equator still could not withstand the extreme cold, at least the temperature was 30 to 40 degrees higher than in the north, with an average of only -30 degrees Celsius to -50 degrees Celsius. And since Shashi was by the sea, the authorities would occasionally cut through the ice to recover frozen sea fish. So food was not as scarce as in the north. In this life, Lin Shi's advanced preparations were not because he coveted official supplies. With a space that could carry massive amounts of supplies on him at all times, safety became Lin Shi's top concern. The scariest thing in the apocalypse was not the extreme weather, but humanity itself. In the extreme cold with no food, starving people would stop at nothing, and murders for supplies happened all too often. No city had stable order. Shashi had the largest official shelter in Qiming Nation, and most of Qiming Nation's top officials, scientific researchers, and the military gathered there. Naturally, order was much better than in other places. Besides, in his previous life he had heard that Shashi had developed food that could be grown in extreme cold. Since he was going to do it this life, he might as well do it best and build his shelter directly in Shashi. After reminding Liao Peng of the relevant precautions for building the shelter, Lin Shi went home. Early the next morning, After his usual morning workout, Lin Shi put all the things at home that could be taken with him into his space. He threw away the useless items downstairs. Before leaving, Lin Shi took one last look at the empty house and turned away without the slightest reluctance. It was just a house. As long as he was alone, anywhere could be home. Lin Shi didn't know that not long after he left home, Zhao Xiao went to his place looking for him. But since he couldn't find Lin Shi, he was cursed out mercilessly by Zhao's father and mother over the next few days. Lin Shi went to handle the property transfer procedures at the agreed time. After the money arrived, he transferred 450,000 to Qingqing. Then he headed straight for the bank. Qiming Nation Bank, the largest head office in Sanyuan City, was built in the city center. Because he needed a large amount of gold and was worried the bank might not have that much on hand at once, Lin Shi had already called to make an appointment with the customer manager yesterday. Once it was confirmed today that the house could be transferred. By the time he arrived at the bank, it was already afternoon. On the way, he stopped to buy a suitcase for the gold. By now, Lin Shi's savings had reached 25.4 million. Adding his original savings and the proceeds from selling 3 gold bars, minus the warehouse rent, and what he spent on Liao Peng and miscellaneous items, he had 15.4 million left. He sold the house for 9 million. He also borrowed 1 million through various online lending apps. If it weren't for the rule that one person cannot borrow more than 1 million on different Chenggrei platforms, Lin Shi would have borrowed more. At present, Lin Shi had a total of 25.4 million yuan, enough to buy 60 kilograms of gold. Calculating according to the rule that each time the treasure basin leveled up, the money value would double. 60 kilograms of gold could upgrade the space 4 times, and then upgrade item duplication twice. Upgrading the space 5 times alone or item duplication 3 times was not enough. The space now measured 6 by 6 by 6, or 216 cubic meters, which should be about enough after 4 more upgrades. What Lin Shi wanted to know was what changes this ability of item duplication would have after leveling up. There were quite a few people in the bank, so Lin Shi walking in with a suitcase was very conspicuous, and a bank staff member immediately came over to ask, "May I ask what service you need?" Lin Shi said, "I'm here to buy gold. I made an appointment yesterday. Which manager did you contact?" "Surname Chu." Soon Lin Shi was led to the door of an office. Chu Xiaodai is a customer manager at the head office of Qiming Bank in Sanyuan City. Yesterday, a client who had 10 million yuan in deposits called her and said he wanted to buy 60 kilograms of gold at the bank. Chu Xiaodai was quite shocked. What does 60 kilograms of gold mean? Although international gold prices have dropped a little in the past 2 days, gold is still 413 yuan per gram, and with the bank's minimum processing fee of 5 yuan, 60 kilograms of gold would cost 25.08 million yuan. Generally, wealthy investors buy gold stocks or gold futures. Very few people would buy so much physical gold. Besides, the situation has been unstable in recent years, and gold prices have remained high, so buying so much physical gold is very likely to result in losses. Chu Xiaodai curiously checked the customer information. The records showed that the person was named Lin Shi, and he was only 19 years old. Chu Xiaodai had a deep impression of this boy. 3 years ago, at Tianqi New Energy Company, Limited, the largest new energy company in Sanyuan City, an electrical engineer died in an accident at work. Tianqi New Energy Company, Limited generously paid out 10 million yuan in compensation, which was widely praised at the time. Not long after, the son of that electrical engineer received the compensation, and it was Chu Xiaodai who handled the transaction for him. Chu Xiaodai remembered that boy was named Lin Shi. She checked the bank's physical gold inventory, and after confirming there was stock, she replied that Lin Shi could come anytime to complete the purchase procedures. She waited all morning, glancing toward the entrance from time to time. After waiting a long while, no one showed up. At noon, just as she was preparing to rest a bit more, there was a knock at the door. "Manager, the gold-buying customer has arrived." Lin Shi waited in the lobby for a while, and then a woman with a mature charm, dressed in a uniform, walked out. He glanced at the name tag on the woman's chest. "Customer manager, Chu Xiaodai. You must be Mr. Lin, right?" Chu Xiaodai smiled appropriately and said politely, "Please come with me." Lin Shi nodded and followed Chu Xiaodai to the VIP room. Chu Xiaodai first explained the purchasing process for physical gold bars to Lin Shi. Buying physical gold means that if the gold price doesn't rise by more than 10-something yuan, it counts as a loss. Because when purchasing, you also have to add processing fees, service fees, and so on. But Lin Shi wasn't buying gold for investment, so losing a dozen yuan was not a big deal to him. "I've already looked into it. Let's go ahead and handle the paperwork. Choose the specifications, open the account, and fill out the forms. Aside from the customer manager's gaze, which Lin Shi found a little hard to handle, the rest of the process went very smoothly. With Lin Shi's 25.4 million yuan deposit, at today's spot international gold price of 412/G, after deducting processing and service fees, he could buy 60 gold bars of 1,000 G each. Lin Shi chose 1,000 G bars himself. Since they would all be sold back anyway, there was naturally no need to worry about style. It's also more convenient to upgrade with 1,000 G bars. Just 2 bars are enough to upgrade to the next level of space. After buying the gold bars, he could choose to keep them in the bank or take them home. Naturally, Lin Shi wanted to take them home. Chu Xiaodai counted out 60 gold bars from the safe and placed them one by one on the counter. Her gaze toward Lin Shi also grew increasingly passionate. Being able to invest in so much gold, Lin Shi was definitely her big client. Thinking that completing this deal would earn her a commission equal to 2 months' salary, Chu Xiaodai found this younger brother increasingly pleasing to the eye. Lin Shi averted his gaze and looked elsewhere. By tomorrow, when he brings the duplicated gold bars back, this woman will probably want to swallow him whole. The VIP room and the lobby were separated by a large frosted glass panel, with a few striped gaps through which the situation in the lobby could be seen. Lin Shi casually scanned the lobby and suddenly froze his gaze. He saw that one person in the crowd seemed a little off. After Shi observing, Lin Shi realized it wasn't one person, but 4. These 4 were dressed ordinarily, appearing to sit casually in different parts of the bank while waiting in line. Even the bank security guards couldn't detect anything unusual at all. But Lin Shi was someone who had survived from the pile of corpses in the apocalypse. In the 8 years of the apocalypse, he had seen plenty of evil people, and he didn't even know how many people he had killed. He could tell at a glance that these 4 had killing intent. It's still the peaceful era now. How could ordinary people possibly have killing intent? Could it be? He didn't come here before, but the one time he did, he ran into a bank robbery? Lin Shi secretly tried to recall whether there had been any news of a bank robbery in Sanyuan City in his previous life before the apocalypse. After thinking for a while, he still couldn't remember any. Could it be that after he came back, some butterfly effect had been triggered? Seemingly sensing Lin Shi's gaze, one of them turned his head over, and Lin Shi quickly looked away. Sanyuan City was one of the safest cities in the Qi Ming nation. As the largest bank in Sanyuan City, someone actually dared to come here and rob a bank. Wasn't that courting death? It was well known that bank robbery was absolutely a matter of risk and reward being wildly out of proportion. Maybe he was overthinking it. There were obstructions, so others couldn't see what was happening here. But Lin Shi still felt a little uneasy deep down. Better safe than sorry. This was all of his wealth and his life on the line. If it really got robbed, he wouldn't even have anywhere to cry. He turned and said quietly to Chu Xiaodai, who was still counting the gold, "Wait, I won't buy it for now today." He also didn't know when these 4 people had come in. He had been carrying a suitcase, which had been very conspicuous, and he had come to the VIP room. If these people had ulterior motives, he might already have been targeted. What? Chu Xiaodai thought she had heard wrong. I said, I won't buy it for now. I'll come back another day to buy it. Lin Shi lowered his voice. However, when Chu Xiaodai heard that Lin Shi wasn't buying, she immediately felt that he was messing with her. After all that trouble, the gold bars had already been taken out, and now he was telling her he wouldn't buy them? Her commission was gone. Chu Xiaodai was very angry, and her voice grew louder as well. Sir, your transaction has already been completed, and the transaction amount has already been deducted. If you want to return it, return it. Lin Shi cut off the rest of Chu Xiaodai's words. Right now, he just hoped this account manager would quickly put the gold bars away. Chu Xiaodai was so angry her face had turned green, but she still had to force out a smile. She did not put the gold bars back, and instead wanted to continue arguing with Lin Shi. Mr. Lin, these gold bars are already yours. If you want to return them, it means sending them through the repurchase process, and you will lose the processing fee and service fee. From the corner of his eye, Lin Shi saw that one of the 4 people was already moving toward the VIP room. The man was about 30 years old, wearing black casual clothes, with a crew cut and an ordinary face. But if you looked closely into his eyes, you could see a hidden viciousness in them, the kind of eyes of someone who had killed people and seen blood. And although this man was Asian, his features gave Lin Shi the feeling that he was not from this country. Seeing this, Lin Shi felt even more that his guess might be right. Chu Xiaodai was still chattering away and reasoning with Lin Shi. Lin Shi silently cursed that something was wrong. This brainless woman. Lin Shi lowered his voice and said, "Hurry up and put the gold bars away. Otherwise, if they get robbed, you bear the consequences yourself." Seeing that Lin Shi was so impossible to reason with, Chu Xiaodai was so angry her chest rose and fell. Mr. Lin, these gold bars are still on my counter. Even if they get robbed, it is still our bank's responsibility, so please don't change the subject and talk nonsense. Lin Shi's focus changed. You mean, if they get robbed now, it still doesn't count as mine? At this moment, the security guard also sensed something and walked over. The VIP room usually handled large transactions, and seeing someone suddenly moving toward it, the guard instinctively became alert. The security guard stopped the crew-cut man in front of him. Hello, please queue in the hall for ordinary transactions. Ah, sorry, I didn't know. The crew-cut man showed an apologetic expression, as if he were about to bow and apologize. However, Lin Shi's pupils suddenly shrank. A black handgun was swiftly pulled from the crew-cut man's pocket and pressed against the guard's abdomen. Then came the bang of a gunshot. The security guard fell to the ground in disbelief, blood gushing continuously from his abdomen and staining the uniform that should have been clean and neat. The next second, the other 3 robbers also pulled out handguns. They each fired one shot at the security guard who had drawn a stun baton. Gunshots and screams rang through the entire lobby. Then came the piercing alarm. A bank employee sitting behind the counter pressed the alarm button at the first opportunity. By then, the crew-cut man had already blasted open the VIP room door with a shot. Lin Shi's eyes met his. Seeing the greed and murderous intent in the crew-cut man's eyes, Lin Shi immediately crouched on the floor. He put his hands over his head and moved himself into a corner. If you asked him what to do when faced with danger, Lin Shi would tell you very firmly. If you can beat them, fight. If you can't, run. If you can't run, then admit defeat. They had 4 guns. He was empty-handed. Stand up and fight? Don't be ridiculous. Isn't being alive better? Lin Shi crouched quietly in the corner. The others in the lobby had already been controlled by the robbers. These 4 robbers were clearly well prepared, with clear division of labor. One was responsible for watching the situation outside, one for guarding the hostages. Another was walking toward the crew-cut man with a duffel bag. Chu Xiaodai at the counter was already scared stiff. Someone actually dared to rob the main branch. The crew-cut man strode straight to the counter, pointed the gun at Chu Xiaodai behind the bulletproof glass, and threatened her. Take out the gold bars. Hurry. Chu Xiaodai didn't comply. Instead, she began gathering the gold bars to lock them back into the safe. Although terrified, they had been trained, and the main branch's bulletproof glass wouldn't be penetrated by an ordinary handgun. This was downtown, and the bank alarm was connected to the nearest public security bureau. In less than 10 minutes, officers would arrive. But there were still other bank employees outside the counter. One of the robbers simply pressed the gun to a staff member's head and took the person to the VIP room door. The employee wet himself on the spot. Take out the gold bars as fast as you can. If you're 10 seconds late, I'll kill one person. Chu Xiaodai had no choice but to do as told. Lin Shi hid in the corner and watched the scene quietly. He noticed that no robber went to the other counters to grab cash. These 4 people had a very clear target. Only the gold in the VIP room. Indeed, any robber with a little brains wouldn't run into a bank to rob cash. You have to know, the serial number of every bill in a bank is recorded, so even if they stole it, they wouldn't be able to spend it. But once the gold was stolen and melted down, it could enter circulation on the market. However, there was one question. The gold inventory at the counter was limited. The bank's large gold bars were all kept in the vault. If they didn't get a huge amount of gold, then the risk of robbing the bank would be disproportionate to the reward. How did these robbers know there would be a massive amount of gold at the bank counter today? There couldn't be many people like him, spending 25 million to buy physical gold. Lin Shi turned his gaze to Chu Xiaodai, who was trembling as she handed the gold bars to the robbers. A flash of insight suddenly crossed his mind. Maybe someone leaked the information that he would be coming to the bank today to buy a huge amount of gold bars. Thinking of it this way, everything became clear. They'd been waiting for this batch of gold bars to appear all along. Lin Shi felt a chill in his heart, and at the same time his gaze turned terrifyingly cold. Luckily, he hadn't taken the gold bars away, and the security staff had noticed something was wrong, which let him narrowly avoid disaster. Otherwise, once the gold bars were packed into the suitcase, there was absolutely no way he would have survived leaving unscathed. The 60 gold bars were quickly handed out through the window by Chu Xiaodai and taken into the duffel bag by the robbers. The gold bars didn't look large, but the weight of 120 jin was very real, and one robber was having some trouble carrying them. At that moment, the crew-cut man saw the suitcase beside the counter. Lin Shi inwardly cried out in dismay. As expected, the crew-cut man noticed Lin Shi. Because it was meant to hold gold bars, The suitcase Lin Shi bought was black, not very large, and had a combination lock. The man with the crew cut said menacingly to Lin Shi, "Come here. Open this suitcase." Lin Shi put on a frightened expression and went over to obediently open the suitcase. The robber put the bag containing the gold bars into the suitcase. Throughout the process, Lin Shi kept his eyes fixed on the robber's movements. All 25 million yuan worth of gold was in this tiny suitcase. If he used his space ability now to put these gold bars into it. No. Lin Shi immediately rejected the idea. The bank's surveillance equipment was still working normally. For a box to suddenly disappear under everyone's noses was far too conspicuous. If 25 million yuan worth of gold vanished into thin air, it would definitely be investigated to the end. If the pocket treasure basin were exposed, it would not be worth the loss. The sirens in the distance were already faintly audible. The robbers were quick, but the Public Security Bureau was even faster. Hearing the sirens, the robbers visibly panicked for a moment. They had to leave immediately. Before leaving, the crew-cut man glanced at Lin Shi again. Suddenly, he reached out and grabbed Lin Shi. Lin Shi instinctively wanted to dodge and counterattack. But then he thought of something and forcibly restrained his instincts, not moving. The crew-cut man grabbed Lin Shi, pressed the gun against his back, and said in a low voice, "Go." Lin Shi obediently followed the robber out of the bank. There was already a car waiting outside the bank. Lin Shi was shoved into the vehicle. It turned out there were 5 robbers in total. It was an SUV, for grown men sat in the back, making it very cramped, but none of the robbers complained. Everyone tacitly allowed the crew-cut man to bring Lin Shi into the car. Just as Lin Shi was being taken hostage into the vehicle, not far away, a reporter who had originally been working nearby rushed over and filmed a video of Lin Shi being kidnapped. Sanyuan City's main branch showed robbers robbing the bank, a young man unfortunately taken hostage. Through a short video, this news was quickly pushed to the trending list at the earliest opportunity. Countless netizens saw the scene in the short video of Lin Shi being taken into the car. Damn, in my lifetime I actually get to see some idiot robbing a bank. Damn, even the main branch dares to be robbed. They've got some nerve. I bet these robbers won't escape for a day. These robbers actually have guns. I bet half a day. I believe in the strength of our country's public security officers. The hostage guy is probably in serious danger, right? That hostage seems like my high school classmate. Isn't that hostage my college classmate Lin Shi? Damn, my high school classmate is also called Lin Shi. Soon someone discovered that the Lin Shi they knew was the same Lin Shi. So, another short video was born. 985 top student kidnapped by bank robbers. Life or death unknown. The short video was then produced and pushed to the top of the trending list. The video also included a clear front-facing photo of Lin Shi. Looking at Lin Shi's handsome, slightly youthful face in the photo, countless older ladies and sisters worried and prayed for him. They even ed the official account, insisting that the hostage must be rescued successfully. The college classmate who posted this video of Lin Shi also gained countless followers as a result. Lin Shi still didn't know that he had already gone viral. Not long after the vehicle started, the police sirens behind them grew closer and closer. The breathing of the 5 people in the car was clearly a lot heavier. One of them rattled off a string of words. Only then did Lin Shi realize that these 5 people might not all be from the same country. At this moment, the suitcase of gold was placed under one of the robbers' feet, with him stepping on it. Lin Shi could touch it just by stretching out his foot. As long as his hand could touch the suitcase, he could transfer the things inside into his space. That's right, Lin Shi was after this box of gold. When the gold was stolen, it was still inside the counter and had never passed through his hands. If it was lost, of course the bank would be responsible. He would still be entitled to the bank's compensation for the 60 kilograms of gold bars. If he puts these gold bars robbed by the bandits into his space, no matter whether the bandits get away or not, the blame for the lost gold will be on them. He will have 120 kilograms of gold. After copying and doubling, that makes a full 240 kilograms. 120 kilograms of gold to upgrade the wealth-gathering basin is twice as much as his original plan. Fortune favors the bold. As long as these 5 bandits are safe, he is safe too. At this moment, Lin Shi was sitting with the 3 bandits in the back row, very close to the suitcase. But bending down to touch the suitcase would be too deliberate, so he was waiting for an opportunity. The bandit driving the SUV was an excellent driver, weaving in and out of traffic at around 80 miles per hour. He narrowly avoided other vehicles several times and left the police cars far behind. But soon the bandit noticed that there were 2 helicopters following them overhead. Lin Shi heard the crew cut man curse in some international profanity. Not long after, a roadblock appeared ahead. That row of sharp spikes was something even an SUV could not break through. A group of special police officers stood ready behind the roadblock. A piercing screech of brakes sounded, and everyone in the SUV leaned forward. Lin Shi's eyes flickered. Great opportunity. Just as everyone was unsteady and focused their attention on the roadblock and the special police officers ahead, Lin Shi bent down casually, quickly touched the suitcase with his hand, and then immediately straightened up again. Not a single bandit noticed anything unusual. These bandits had no idea that the gold they had gone through so much trouble to rob had already disappeared, all taken by Lin Shi into his space. Next, he had to think of a way to get away. The SUV reversed frantically, turned around, and fled, heading down a side road. The helicopters followed. On one of the helicopters, a camera was now pointed at the bandits' SUV. The SUV seemed to have taken a loop, and after more than 10 minutes, a flyover appeared ahead. Beneath the overpass, traffic was flowing in both directions, yet Lin Shi's body tensed up. Parked under the overpass was an ordinary black sedan. But Lin Shi could tell at a glance that something was off. Normally, even if people were in a hurry, they would pull over by the roadside outside the overpass, not park under the bridge. And beneath the overpass happened to be a blind spot for helicopter surveillance. This was very likely a vehicle these bandits had prepared in advance to shake off pursuit. If this group of bandits got out, they would find the gold bars and the suitcase gone, and he would be put at a disadvantage. As Lin Shi had guessed, that was exactly what happened. As soon as the SUV entered beneath the overpass, it slammed on the brakes. If they were not changing vehicles, and there were no cars ahead, there was no need to brake hard at all. Just as the SUV braked suddenly, Lin Shi, who was sitting between the two bandits, suddenly reached out and touched the hands of the two bandits holding guns. The two bandits were about to react, but their hands were suddenly empty. The pistols were gone. They were instantly stunned. In the blink of an eye, a bandit's pistol appeared in Lin Shi's hand, and he fired a headshot at the third armed bandit in the back row. Then he fired two more shots in quick succession, headshotting the two unarmed bandits in the back row. At such a close distance, Lin Shi didn't need to aim at all. Hearing the gunfire from the back row, the crew-cut man in front instinctively turned his head. His body was still leaning forward from inertia, and before he could make a move, Lin Shi's gun was already pointed at his head. The crew-cut man's pupils shook in terror. He hadn't expected that what he thought was just a rich second-generation hostage with no ability to fight back could actually snatch a gun from a companion's hand. His movements were practiced, his shooting fast, accurate, and ruthless, and his coldness completely belied his apparent age. The crew-cut man opened his mouth as if to say something, and Lin Shi had already pulled the trigger. It sounds like a long sequence, but in fact it all happened in the blink of an eye. The bandit in the driver's seat had both hands on the steering wheel all along. The moment he realized something was wrong, he immediately pulled the gun from his waist. Before he could even release the safety, his head had already exploded. At this point, all 5 robbers were down. Surprisingly, this off-road vehicle had bulletproof glass throughout, which made it fairly soundproof. And no other vehicles happened to pass by, so it didn't alert anyone else. After Lin Shi shot the robber in the driver's seat, he flipped out of the car at top speed, avoiding the sight of passing cars, put his hand on the car body, and stored the entire vehicle, corpse and all, into his space. Then he quickly walked to the black sedan. He yanked the door open and got in. The car really hadn't been locked, and the key was still in it. Lin Shi stepped on the accelerator, and the vehicle sped away. More than 10 minutes later, after confirming no helicopter had locked onto his position, Lin Shi drove the car into a remote mountain forest. Because the car switching process was so fast, the helicopter didn't react in time to the bandits changing vehicles. In addition, there had already been tire tracks under that bridge, so Lin Shi quickly drove away from official surveillance. After confirming once again that no one was around and there was no surveillance, Lin Shi stored the black sedan in his space and took out the off-road vehicle. He began collecting the spoils of war. The 5 robbers each had a handgun, and there were 10 magazines in total. Lin Shi picked up a gun and neatly replaced the magazine that had been emptied. In his previous life, he had handled guns before, but in Qiming country firearms were tightly controlled, and getting hold of a handgun was very difficult. Firearms, whether before the apocalypse or after it, were extremely valuable supplies. Taking such a huge risk this time, apart from those gold bars, handguns were also one of his targets. With a handgun, his chances of survival in the early apocalypse would undoubtedly increase greatly. Lin Shi searched the cabin for a while longer. He found a small amount of cash and 2 daggers. He put all of these things and the gold bars away. Although there had been an unexpected incident during this bank gold bar purchase, the gains were far beyond what he had expected. After confirming nothing was left behind, Lin Shi also stored this off-road vehicle in his space. After the apocalypse, he would casually dump these people into the sea, letting them be frozen beneath thick layers of ice, never to be found by anyone. After handling everything, Lin Shi walked a bit farther out, hailed a taxi, and went to the Public Security Bureau. Meanwhile, the police cars arrived under the overpass where the off-road vehicle had disappeared, only to find no one there. The robbers and that off-road vehicle seemed to have vanished into thin air, and the cameras under the overpass had already been destroyed by the robbers, who had made preparations in advance. All the officers returned empty-handed. Half an hour later, in the downtown Public Security Bureau, "You're saying that after those people drove the car into the mountains, they let you go? Then they drove off again? Do you remember the license plate number? Did you see which direction they went?" The officers asked one after another. The main branch had just had 25 million yuan worth of gold bars stolen by robbers, and a hostage taken as well. This incident caused widespread attention in Sanyuan City and across the country. Although the hostage was now safe and sound, the robbers and the gold bars were gone, which gave the leadership of the downtown Public Security Bureau a huge headache. Faced with the officers' questions, Lin Shi answered truthfully wherever he could. For anything he couldn't answer, he put on an innocent look and said he didn't know, wasn't clear, or hadn't noticed. The robbers and the car had already vanished into thin air. The more lies he made up, the more loopholes there would be. Lin Shi just needed to act dumb. Although he was also under suspicion, as long as the officers investigated, they would know he had never contacted the robbers before today. After all, just a few days ago, he was still a perfectly ordinary college student. There was no need for such a flawless lie. After the official investigation, Lin Shi's suspicion could be ruled out. "Officer, can the gold bars still be recovered? If they can't be recovered, the bank will compensate me, right?" After the questioning ended, Lin Shi started worrying about his gold bars. Just as the officer was about to speak, Chu Xiaodai and a middle-aged man in a suit hurried into the police station. As soon as the middle-aged man entered, he asked, "Is the hostage found? Where is he? And the gold bars?" The officer said to Lin Shi, "The bank people are here. The older one is the bank vice president. You can speak to him directly." The bank vice president, Li Chongbin, who had been robbed, soon sat down across from Lin Shi. The security officer had already left, and there were only Lin Shi, Chu Xiaodai, and Li Chongbin in the room. "You're the hostage? You're back? The gold bars are gone." Li Chongbin's tone was accusatory, which made Lin Shi slightly unhappy, though he didn't show it. "You can ask the security officer about those questions. I want to ask when you're going to pay me back for my gold bars." Li Chongbin frowned and glanced at Chu Xiaodai. Chu Xiaodai took out a document and handed it to Lin Shi, saying, "Mr. Lin, your gold bars were taken by the robbers. If this batch of gold bars cannot be recovered, our bank is willing to compensate you for 50% of your loss. If there's no problem, sign on this document." At present, the news that the gold bars were robbed has already spread all over the internet. If you don't want this incident to cause reputational damage to the bank, we have to resolve it as soon as possible. 50%? Lin Shi turned his head and looked at Chu Xiaodai with a half-smile. "Didn't you say that if it was robbed, it would be your bank's responsibility?" Chu Xiaodai's gaze darted away, but thinking of the vice president's instructions before coming out, she still put on a righteous expression and said, "The loss of the gold bars was caused by a third party. Our bank's security personnel died in this incident, with 4 dead and 2 seriously injured, and we have already fulfilled our due obligations. We're also very sorry that this happened. If the gold bars can be found, we will definitely hand them over to you in full." Lin Shi glanced at the document Chu Xiaodai handed over. It was packed with dense professional jargon. The rough meaning was that if the gold bars couldn't be recovered, the bank would compensate Lin Shi for half the gold bars, and Lin Shi could no longer hold the bank responsible. Lin Shi almost laughed, putting it so nicely as if it were for his own good. Did they think he was a 3-year-old child? Lin Shi glanced at that vice president. He looked completely composed, as if compensating half was already their mercy. "I remember those gold bars were taken by the robbers from inside the counter, and the gold bars were never handed over to me, so the transaction between the bank and me was never completed. The bank losing the gold bars has nothing to do with me." Li Chongbin was somewhat surprised that Lin Shi, a 19-year-old young man, could still be so calm after being held hostage by the criminals. He said earnestly, "Lin Shi, the loss of the gold bars isn't entirely our bank's responsibility. How about this? We'll compensate you 60%. Also, I happen to be on good personal terms with one of your university professors, and I can help you apply for a guaranteed postgraduate spot. How about it? Not how about it. Lin Shi refused outright. Seeing that Lin Shi wouldn't budge, Li Changbin's expression turned somewhat ugly, and he said unkindly, "Young people shouldn't be too greedy. I heard there isn't a single adult in your family, only you. You're still young and haven't entered society yet, so you don't know that young people nowadays have to learn to compromise. Otherwise, offending someone you shouldn't offend could affect your future." "Heh, are you threatening me?" A cold glint flashed in Lin Shi's eyes. Chu Xiaodai tried to smooth things over. "Mr. Lin, we're sincerely discussing compensation with you. But we want to know, how did you know these people were going to rob the bank? These robbers are utterly lawless, yet they let you go, Mr. Lin. Surely you don't really know these robbers? You're saying I'm in cahoots with the robbers?" Lin Shi laughed in anger. The two of them didn't say anything, clearly taking that as the default assumption. Since they couldn't reach an agreement, Lin Shi didn't want to waste any more time. He stood up and walked straight out. "Then the two of them can help the police look for evidence. I won't keep you company anymore. Next, I'll get my things back through legal channels. If he were to sue the bank himself, the chance of winning would be very high, but it would take a long time. Still, the gold bars were already in hand, so he wouldn't be at a loss no matter what. As for the threat from that bank vice president, he hoped that 3 months later the man could still be standing while speaking to him." A trace of killing intent flashed in Lin Shi's eyes. At that moment, his phone suddenly rang. The caller ID showed an unknown number. Thinking it was some kind of ad, Lin Shi turned on the speakerphone directly. The call connected, and a woman's voice came through the phone. "Hello, may I ask if this is Mr. Lin Shi? I'm a reporter for XX News in this city, and I'd like to do a special interview with you. Do you have time?" Lin Shi froze. A reporter from this city? What did they want to interview him for? Just as he was about to refuse, another call came in. It was still an unknown number. "Sorry, let me take this call first." With that, Lin Shi hung up and answered the second call. "Hello, Mr. Lin Shi. We are XX New Media, and we want..." Before the words were even finished, another phone number called in. Lin Shi hung up this one in confusion and kept answering. "May I ask if this is classmate Lin Shi? I'm a news reporter." News reporters all calling him? Lin Shi raised an eyebrow. He didn't hang up, but chatted with the CCTV reporter instead. "I'm Lin Shi. What do you need me for? Does classmate Lin have time to take an interview? The public is very interested in how you escaped from the robbers." Lin Shi hesitated a bit. He didn't want to become famous. Internet users in the 21st century are terrifying. If any of his little moves were dug up, he'd be done for. Although he had killed the robbers in self-defense at the time, the fact that he had kept the gold bars was real. A glance from the corner of his eye showed Chu Xiaodai and the vice president staring at him closely. They seemed somewhat nervous. The refusal that had reached his lips turned into agreement. "Okay." After setting the time and place, Lin Shi hung up and continued walking out. A flash of frustration crossed Li Changbin's eyes. He had originally wanted to strike first before the reporters arrived. Who knew this Lin Shi would be so impossible to sway by either soft or hard tactics? "Wait, let's talk again." Chu Xiaodai tried to grab Lin Shi's arm, but he dodged. Lin Shi turned to look at Chu Xiaodai, raised an eyebrow, as if he had just remembered something, and said, "Right. I gave the police a clue about the robbers' motive for the robbery." "What clue?" Chu Xiaodai asked subconsciously. "When I was being held hostage, I heard the robbers say that bank staff had leaked the information about my gold purchase, which was why they targeted this batch of gold bars and robbed the bank." This line was actually made up by Lin Shi. He couldn't understand the robbers' conversation at all, but that didn't stop him from trying to bluff this woman. If someone had leaked his information, the woman in front of him was the most likely one. Chu Xiaodai's heart sank as if something clicked. A trace of panic flashed across her face. Seeing Chu Xiaodai become increasingly panicked, Lin Shi had only a 50% certainty before, but now he was fully sure. TSK. She caused the deaths of 4 security guards and made the bank lose more than 20 million. Who knows how many years the leaker will be sentenced to? Looking at Chu Xiaodai's lost, dazed appearance, Lin Shi gave a malicious smile and turned to leave. No wonder the bank robbery that never happened in his previous life appeared in this one. Sure enough, it was because his rebirth and purchase of gold bars at the bank caused a butterfly effect. Li Changbin glared, shouting at Lin Shi's departing back, "Stop!" Seeing that Lin Shi kept walking without stopping, Li Changbin tightly grabbed Chu Xiaodai's arm. "What's going on?" It was only because the bank wasn't entirely at fault that he had come to negotiate with Lin Shi. He never imagined that even the robbers were brought in by one of their own. Then what the hell was there to negotiate? "It wasn't me," Chu Xiaodai cried out sharply. Seeing Chu Xiaodia's guilty, panicked look, how could Li Changbin not understand that the leaker Lin Shi mentioned was Chu Xiaodai? Now that Lin Shi had already contacted the TV station, he had to settle this matter before it blew up. Li Changbin no longer looked at Chu Xiaodai even once and turned to leave. He left Chu Xiaodai collapsing to the ground, muttering over and over, "It wasn't me, it wasn't me." Yesterday, after receiving Lin Shi's call about buying a batch of gold worth 25 million, Chu Xiaodai was very happy.